SGC here, and we're back for a first impression. Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 1. Created by Bryan Fuller, who dropped out a few weeks before actual shooting began, and carried on by Alex Kurtzman. Fuller's still an exec producer on this, and there are changes, and it's too bad that his vision couldn't be carried over because of all the stuff that he's done for Hannibal and now for American Gods. So, wonder who or what it could have been. But anyways, if you don't know, Star Trek is not my thing. So, it's not a Star Trek fan. I'm just checking out because I found out Michelle Yeoh is in it, and she was a guest star, and I was like, what? She's a guest star? So I have to check it out because I thought she was a main cast. And then I read more about it, and it's just like, okay, first episode I'm done. Now, I gotta film this just to talk about it. I mean, so it sets roughly a decade before the events of the original Star Trek. I have yet to see that stuff. I do one day hope for that I will have watched the entirety of Star Trek. And it's separate from the timeline of the concurrent feature films. I also watched I watched all three, and I enjoyed it for what they are. And basically, the Discovery explores the Federation and the Klingon Cold War while following the crew of the USS Discovery. Showrunners are Gretchen J. Berg and Aaron Herberts, and it's produced with Akiva Goldsman. So, in terms of casting, we have Sonequa Martin-Green, Doug Jones, Shazad Latif, Anthony Rapp, Marie Wiseman, Jason Isaacs, and a lot more people. Check down below. So before we even get to the first episode, I dig Doug Jones' character, Saru, who is a Kelpian, who is the first to enter Starfleet, new species created for Discovery. So that's props, and I really like how he's so much taller than everybody. It really throws things off in terms of cinematics. So, fun times. Anyways, back to the first episode. I know nothing, but it was fine. I mean, we have this passing on the captain. I mean, in the trailer, when it first popped out, you know that Michael Burnham, number 1, is probably going to be captain soon, but Michelle Yeoh is captain now, and she's just simply number 1. So we get that sand sequence, pretty cool. I mean, cinematically, it was like, wow. Like, the fact that they got to those places to shoot, and then, that was nice, and then you go back to the ship, and we have this Klingon thing, and no one believes her, and then we have flashbacks of, like, her training in Klingon, sort of like social studies type of thing, and, I mean, I'm open. I'm not jaded or whatever. I'm just like, okay, let's see what's this new thing is about. So we have the whole storyline coming through, and then Klingons, blah, blah, blah. A lot of things happening. We have a Cold War. That's not being cold anymore. And we have some Vulcan dude coming in once in a while. And yeah, as a first episode, a lot of things are sort of, how much do I know in terms of Star Trek? Is that going to be in the way, the lack, or the... I think, obviously, if you knew more about Star Trek, you would like this or appreciate it. I don't know about I mean, granted, I'm just reading Facebook posts of people that I know that watched this, and they're like, hey, enjoyed it. And I'm assuming they're Star Trek fans, or at least watched the original Star Trek. But yeah, as a first-time TV show Star Trek watcher, it is silly in the sense where when they're sort of asking people status report, and then they just read off the screen type of thing, and then just jumps back and forth. That's kind of like the way it's filmed is sort of very TV-like. So I guess the production value dropped in that sense, or I don't know, even the money dropped, but I feel like the vibe and atmosphere dropped, and it's just like the scope was crazy, and then we have this running around in the desert, and then we got a space thing, and then Klingons, and then status report, and it's like, oh, what do you got? And it felt kind of like cheesy in the times. And I don't know about the whole Klingons thing. There's a whole Klingon controversy about how they look totally different from the original series, and it's just weird because it seems like, hey, this series took place 10 years before the original, so why do they look drastically different? So granted, I read some stuff about how Fuller is a crazy Star Trek fanboy, and he was going to keep things closer to the original, but since he dropped out, I guess studio is just taking ownership and just going, hey, we're going to do something different, and just to make it different enough that it's like a new thing for newcomers type of thing. So for me, I guess. But granted, I mean, it's interesting sort of like the change. The nose bridge thing is huge now, and the Ridge stuff, they look totally different, but props on character costume design, because I mean, granted, as the first episode we have the Starfleet costumes, uniforms, and then the Klingon guys, and that's basically it. So props for Klingons looking badass in a sense. So overall, am I excited for the rest of the season? I don't really know how I feel. I know that something happens to Michelle Yeoh, and that probably happens in episode 2. But overall, I do look forward to see if I can get into this. That's sort of the same reason why I watched the recent 3 Star Treks, was to, like, you know, this is an existing IP that's been around for so freaking long, and I have yet to get into it. And it's like a chance for, like, welcoming new people to come in, and I'd take it. And granted, I wonder where they're going to go. And I do look forward to it, I guess, in a sense where I'm just curious to see where they're going to go, how they're going to do this, how are they going to differentiate themselves from, say, The Expanse in terms of sci-fi tone and atmosphere. Granted, The Expanse just feels a lot more grittier and just more sci-fi and less TV. Okay. And yet I never really continued on with that series. I would like to, but haven't gotten time for it. Anyways, instead of all my rambling and babbling, that is it, and that's how I feel about this new Star Trek Discovery. And hopefully I'll come back for a final impression, because, I mean, it is Star Trek. You know, give that respect to a well-respected IP. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop talking here, and that's it for this first impression of Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 1. Later.